Your job as CEO changes every 6 months, every year, every couple of years. Just nobody tells you that. And in fact, some of the things that made you good at the prior stage become a hindrance for the next stage. So for example, I wrote most of the first version of Dropbox, but there just became too much stuff to do and I had to stop coding. First of all, nobody's born a CEO. You learn it. And the challenge is you just don't know what your blind spots are. The chessboard is a lot bigger than just building a good product. And you have to be able to make smart and fast decisions about what markets do we go into, our business models, competition, strategy, how do you build a team, how do you run a team. That's pretty tough when you've never done any of it.
How did you learn those things?
Probably one of the most useful questions that I like to ask myself, and still do, is 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, when I look back on today, what will I wish I had been learning?
And did you mostly figure this out yourself, or did you ask people?
So reading was probably the single most valuable thing that I did.
Anything you'd recommend other people read?
Yeah, so I think my favorite book on management is High Output Management by Andy Grove, which is kind of the Bible of how do you scale an organization. The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker is really good. But basically what you're talking about is you need to have good judgment about a lot of different things. And so it's like, how do you, what that really is saying is like, how do you gain wisdom very quickly? And last book recommendation, Poor Charlie's Almanac by Charlie Munger, is probably the best book on that that I've read, which is really about how do you build a bunch of mental models to sort of break down the complexity of the world and know when to use each. But reading is part of it, but then also having friends that are one step ahead, 2 steps ahead, 5 years ahead, and just sort of looking at the deltas between them.